Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bio. This week I am talking to Mark Moseley, who is the founder of the London-based pest control business PestGone Environmental, and whose clients include the rich and famous and members of the royal family. Mark is also the published author of the book Pests to Peace, and last year appeared as a candidate on the TV business show The Apprentice. I really wanted to bring Mark on because The Apprentice is showing right now, so very timely, but also I wanted to just pick his brains around what being on the show has done for his profile. So let's get stuck in. Mark Moseley, welcome to Beyond the Bio. It's really cool to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You say that now. You haven't seen my questions yet. So I want to talk to you. I wanted to get you on for a while, and I thought now the timing is awesome because obviously you were on The Apprentice last year, and The Apprentice is out at the moment, so very, very topical. And I just wanted to explore with you really what being on the show has done for you and your profile. So let's just rewind a little bit, and if you can start off just by telling us, how did going on to The Apprentice come about in the first place?
So I'd never seen the show before, and I happened to be sitting in my flat, and I usually play football on a Thursday night, but I damaged my ankle. So this Thursday night, I was sat there flicking through the TV channels, and I'd see The Apprentice was on. I watched an episode, and like we all do, we go, blimey, these lot are stupid. I can do better than this. I own a business, so why not give it a go myself? I applied. And yet that weekend, I got asked to go for an audition in London. And I just thought, be a cheeky chappy. They line you all up, 20 of you in a room. You stand behind bits of paper numbered 1 to 20. And they say, you got 30 seconds to sell yourself. So they said, right, number 15, I think I was. I stepped forward and said, right, everyone, pin your ears back. You are looking at the Series 17 Apprentice winner. And it got a laugh. And then next thing you know, I went up through the levels during the day. And I couldn't believe it. I was in Sri Lanka on my 39th birthday. I got a phone call when I was in Sri Lanka and said, look, you're on the show. We start in 4 weeks. You need to get your backside back, and you've got 5 days to get a business plan in. So I quickly did a business plan on the day returning back from Sri Lanka in 1 day and whacked it in. But yeah, so that's how it all came about. It was just a whirlwind. And I was thinking to myself when I was on the flight back from Sri Lanka thinking, do I really want to do this? Should I just cancel it now? But I didn't. And what an experience it was. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
What were your reservations at that point before you actually got into it and you knew it? What were you concerned about?
I think it's the credibility side of things, because from me catching up on this flight, I downloaded a few of the episodes and I'm thinking, this is my business, this is my baby. I don't want the public to think this guy is an idiot, because you can be edited in any way they want you to be edited. And I don't want to lose very high profile customers we had at the time, we still have. And that was my big concern. And I thought, I don't want to lose the business over a TV show. And it was the complete opposite, to be fair.
That's good. And what was it actually like being on the show? Like when you were being filmed? And is it true that they take your phones away and all that sort of stuff and you're literally stuck in the house apart from doing the tasks?
That is correct. Yeah. So they said, right, Mark, you need to meet at London Bridge at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I think it was a Friday morning and the sun was coming up. This was in April. And they said, we're going to do your walk-in shots. So I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Someone took my suitcases away that I was going to be living in the house with, my suits, everything. And they said, right, we're going to make you walk across London Bridge from the middle of the bridge all the way down to the end. And I did that about 25 times with a camera crew and everything. And there's people now, it was quiet first of all, but when it got to about 6:45, you can imagine that bridge is starting to get busy. And the sun's coming up. It was beautiful, in fact. And there were some members of the public who were not happy being told to move by some of the runners. And then that afternoon, I did a few more camera bits up in hotels. We got taken to a hotel to do another half-hour piece of camera. And my company actually looked after the pest control for that hotel. So I was like, there's my pest control box. So I was thinking, this is all going well. And they said, right, we want your phones off you. We want everything off you now. And I quickly got my WhatsApp onto my laptop so I could still use WhatsApp for the business. And then I had a week in quarantine in a hotel and I got 2 walks a day. So a runner would come and get me at 10:30 in the morning. And then 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd have a half-hour walk and I'd walk round to Soho Square, sit in the park there for half hour and then go back. And I had to walk around Oxford Street with a mask on. I looked like a bit of an idiot because COVID was still a bit of a thing. So quarantine for a week, take your phones off you. And then on a Sunday morning, they said, right, now you're going to be smart, go into the boardroom. And I didn't know where I was going. And it was really surreal. And
Where
the
was it?
doctor come in, take one final swab.
Is the boardroom actually his boardroom?
No, it's a TV studio. So it's a big warehouse in West London. It's near Park Royal. It's in Royal Oak
Oh, I know
Underground
Park
Station.
Royal.
I think it is near Hanger Lane. But yeah, it's called Duke's Island. And I remember watching when I came out of the house. I remember watching Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway, and there was Ryland. He was at Duke's Island doing something. They were pranking him, and I was like, "Oh, that's where the boardroom is." So it's just a big warehouse, and they've got it all set up. So all the walls are actually just cardboard or plasterboard. Even the boardroom, it's not metal that you're seeing; it's just sprayed metal.
Oh, I don't know if I'm
Sorry to ruin
disappointed.
some of the illusion.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm disappointed or impressed. I don't know.
That's the worst thing. I try not to tell the truth these days, because I told the truth to some people and they're so disappointed. And I'm like, oh no, because someone's come up to me when I was doing a job, and this guy see me. He came out of this office and was like, "You're Mark from The Apprentice," and it was still airing. And he said, "Did that really happen in Brighton?" And I was like, "This really happened." And he looked so disappointed. And I was like, that's it. I can't ever tell the truth because it upsets people too much.
That's funny. Why do they take the phones off you? Is it so that you don't film stuff, or is it so that you're just really super focused during the time you're on the show?
Yeah, I think they make out that it's you could be cheating in some way. So you could allowed to take 2 books into the house with you, but they have to be fiction books. They can't be non-fiction books, anything to do with business, in case it's a way of helping you. Not that you know the task that's coming up, but they think that you might be able to use the phone in a ways to help you out. You might try and get the phone out to use it as a calculator, because they don't like to have calculators at all.
Interesting. So when you were on the show, and this is probably going to be when the show was out, although I'm kind of making an assumption there, but at what point did you notice a difference to your profile?
I mean, the profile of the business was probably around about week 4 or 5. But me personally, I remember the first show had aired, and I went to Wimbledon to go and do a guy had rats in his property. It was a bit of a problem job. So I went out, and a guy just happened to be walking down the road in Wimbledon and was like, "You were on The Apprentice last night." And I was thinking, oh no. And I'm in my pest control outfit, tool bag. And there's I push on the flat buzzer. Another guy comes out from the flat upstairs, and he was like, "You were on The Apprentice last night." And I was thinking, how many people watch this show? I didn't realize how popular it was. And then went in to do the flat, and there was a girl in there, and she was like, "When you were on The Apprentice last night?" I was thinking, that's 3 people from, I don't know, the space of 10 minutes of getting out of my car in Wimbledon. And I was starting to panic now. I was thinking, oh, I don't want this. So that was it. For the business side of things, probably around about week 4 or 5, I started to have people contact me, businesses, to possibly be a brand ambassador for them. And could I sort of partner with them in a way? And also do pest control for their businesses. So that was probably it. So week 4 or 5.
Is it brought sales into the business?
Yeah. When the show was airing, I'd probably say around about £20,000 worth of business was brought in. That's from people saying, "Oh, we saw you on the show. We wanted to use you as a supplier." One business, it was probably around about £4,000 contract that came in from the show as well, which was nice. But there was also a couple of detrimental things. There were some things in the paper that just weren't true about me, and that sort of hit the business quite hard. We lost a really big contract over it. Not that the company said that, but I was like, is this because of what was in the paper last week? Because I said it's completely untrue, and they said, no, nothing to do with that. So that was the detrimental side. But yeah, I've even spoke to some of the candidates on this year, and I said, don't expect to see a huge increase in the sales, but it will open doors and give you a lot of credibility, and people will choose you over someone else just because of your profile.
Yeah. There's a couple of things I want to pick up on from that. So obviously you did have a bit of negativity while you were on the show. And I remember watching it and having known you before you were on the show and watching you on TV, I remember thinking, this isn't the Mark that I know. And I didn't feel like you were portrayed as well as I thought you should have been. So you obviously did have a bit of negativity. What happened there?
With the negativity side, you're not going to get on well with everyone in the process. I think I got on well with everyone except one person. There was one person rubbing everyone up the wrong way, no names and things. And there was runners had been made to cry, a producer had been made to cry by this person. They got to the stage where I thought, right, I'm not having this. And I called it out basically and said, look, your behavior is toxic. It's causing a lot of issues. You need to sort it out. This person then said, right, on camera, this guy needs to be kicked off the show now. He's a nightmare. She had a coward at one stage. And I was like, oh God, here we go. And I thought I was going to get kicked off at that point just for calling someone out and being toxic. But they didn't. They kept me on. But I knew my time was limited after that. But that was the negativity side. And that person, when they actually got fired on air, when TV show came out, they went to the papers and said something, which was completely untrue. And you're like, oh God, I don't really need it. I even got told off actually in the boardroom after week 4. We'd got to Brighton. I was in the final 3. And a girl, Denisha, lovely girl, she got fired. And then Lord Sugar went, right, wait there. And I thought, here we go. And he had a massive go at me. Not that it was ever aired. He went, you ever talk to one of my candidates like that, you'll be fired quicker. Than I was like, I said, I just called it out. I said, we're all thinking it. I just called it out, Lord Sugar. And that was it. And he went, get back to the house and pair you. So that was it. But that was the negativity side of things.
Yeah, and you said as well that it led to opportunities. So tell us about tell us about the best opportunity that being on the show led to.
I think the best opportunity, and it's going to sound not so much in a business sense, I had someone reach out for me, the military community, and they said, look, we're putting together a group of people who are very well respected in their companies, and we're trying to get military guys and girls into facility management because we think there's a huge crossover. I've got friends who've been facility management for Chelsea Football Club, looking after all the, everything to do with the running of the facility side of things. And now we have meetings in the Shard and things. So there's a group of huge, company representatives, about 8 of us, working for these massive, massive corporations. And I'm sat in a room with them, and they were trying to get military personnel into facility management because we think there's such a huge crossover into that industry from the military. Not that the military personnel see that now, but when they come out, they would see that. So, yeah, a lot of my friends are working facility management for some of the biggest companies out there, such as Mighty, CBRE, and things like this. So that was the best opportunity. And I know it's sort of a personal thing. That's not a financial game. It's just nice to be able to try and give something back. And I know that's a bit of a one of them soppy answers, but it's just, that's the truth. And I've got to meet some really good people. And off the back of that, there is some work coming off the back of that because I'm associated with these facility management companies. Can you do our pest control for this place? Can you do our pest control for these people? So that's great. So there is a financial side of trying to do some good.
Nice. And you've had a few TV opportunities and things off the back of the show too?
Yeah, I've been asked to go speak on many, many news outlets. I think I was quoted in the Times and then the Mirror the other day, and Channel 4's Steph's packed lunch a few times, which was nice. I was meant to be on This Morning a couple of weeks ago with Dermot and Alison, but last minute that got cancelled because something else in the news popped up. But that's quite nice. But if I'm the go-to pest expert for these people, then the media, if you like, then I'm more than happy with that. And I've got enough producers and people on my phone who get in contact. It's usually about their own house. Mark, I'll be like, what TV show do you want me on? No, I've got mice in my house. Oh, all right.
That sounds familiar.
So go and sort their mice out.
That sounds familiar. I can't remember what it was that I was asking you about. Was it? I think it was about damp or something. I can't remember what it was now, but I'm sure I've asked you about.
Oh, it might be mites. Yeah,
Oh no, it was fleas.
Messages from friends. I've got rats.
It was
in the
fleas.
Garden. Was it fleas? Was it?
So, yeah, cat fleas.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there you go.
Problem is, when you do one of these media things on a national television program, you get calls from Scotland or wherever else you go. We don't cover that area. You're trying to help people out over the phone because you want to try and do your best for them. But that's the only thing we're doing a national thing, and the business not being national, it's just London based. But hey ho,
it's an opportunity, Mark.
That's it. That's why when I got fired from the show, I also had that book ready to go, and that was released. So that was good.
Did you notice any impact on your book sales from the show?
Yeah, I think in a couple of days they did a couple of 100 book sales, which was quite nice. I had the royalty thing came through the other day, which was quite nice. And I was like, oh, that's a lot more than what I thought it was going to be, considering the publishers take so much of the percentage. And I was like, oh, that's all right. Right. So, I was quite pleased with that.
Very good, very good. What support did the show give you in terms of profile and PR support? Did they give you anything?
There are a press team, as they call it. They were great. Patrick and Jenny, they were called really lovely, lovely people. They work for a media company, but it did sort of feel to me that they were more concerned about looking after the brand of the show rather than the candidates, because the brand is first and then you're second. So when the story was going to be released about me, my phone was going crazy. I had about 30 missed calls in the space of 30 minutes. And I was like, what has gone on here? I just couldn't answer the phone. And then they're like, right, the story's coming out later. But yeah, they do protect the brand rather than yourself. But there is a lot of welfare that goes on. And then I think it was only about a few weeks ago, I had a phone call and said, look, Mark, we've got the new lot coming in now. So if you need any help from us, here's our number. But we're going to be concentrating all our efforts on obviously the new candidate, which is fair dues. And I said, I'm fine, thank you. But there is a lot of welfare and support like most of this. So it is good.
That's good. Good to know. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like totally amazing, totally awesome, how would you rate where your profile was pre-Apprentice versus where it is now?
I'd probably say, well, I think it's just different worlds. So I mean, it's probably 9. I'm pre-apprentice. Okay, I've got my foot in the door of a couple of businesses, some very high-profile clients, maybe celebrities, royal family. And then when the show comes out, you just go into a different stratosphere, if you like, because you know I was in a pub on Saturday night, and a girl walked out with her boyfriend, I think, and they gave me a stare, and I thought, oh, I think I've just nicked their table because they were on my table, and then they walked out, and then 2 minutes later they came back in, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get an earful. And this girl goes, you were Mark from The Apprentice, weren't you? And then she just sat down and wanted to have a chat. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I was with someone, and, said, can I have a picture? And I said, that a picture. I had a quick picture. And I think, I don't know what they can do with these pictures now. But yeah, because you're not in the public eye, but you still get recognised. And, even she said to me, you were the pest control guy. So I think, well, it was mentioned that much on the show about, pest control. And Lord Sugar would mention in the boardroom about rats and things and pests. He would always do it. And I kept saying, even when I was in the vehicle, we were going back to the house. And I know the cameras are still sort of rolling somewhere in the vehicle, and I know the microphone's on. So I just kept going, keep mentioning pest control, Lord Sugar, keep mentioning pest control. And every boardroom, he would mention a pest control joke. So I thought, well, at least he's doing me a favour here. But yeah, so that was it. So people still recognise me and the thing, so which is quite nice. So yeah.
That's so funny. So do they tag you in posts and stuff on social media?
They do. I mean, yeah. So you get tagged. They put a picture up on their Instagram story, and you can either share it. I don't usually share it. To be fair, I don't want to be that sort of person to go, oh look, someone's recognised me. I just can't. I'm not that way inclined. To be fair, I never was. But and I always felt really awkward,
Too cool.
especially when I was in work here. Yeah, maybe too cool, but I always felt awkward in my pest control gear, doing a job, and someone recognises you, whilst you're sort of holding a dead animal or something. You're Mark the Apprentice, yeah. They're trying to have a chat with you while you're putting a
holding the
dead
rat
animal in a bag. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But no, but everyone always asks the same questions.
What was the increase in your followers across social media from being on the show?
I mean, I've never been public, so probably around about 4,000 or 5,000 people. I know on Instagram, maybe around about 6,000, 7,000 people. I mean, the other guys, the younger people who really went for it, they went up, 20, 30, 40,000. Some of them, I think, some of Marnie went up 50,000. I mean, I'm guessing from what they've got follow. I think Victoria's got something like 70, 80,000. So yes, I think it's just how you promote yourself. And a friend of mine, she climbs a lot of mountains, and she was telling me that she puts up so many posts a day, and she does it just to try and get more followers. And people just, you start appearing in the algorithms. I assume if you type in mountains, she'll pop up and people just follow her. So she got to 100,000 relatively quickly, if you like, she said. And they're all organic, they're not paid for. So yes, but I don't post that much on social media. I'm not a massive fan. I don't use TikTok and things. And other candidates, they would hammer TikTok and everything else, and they tell me what to do. And like Avi on the show, he's an avid user, excuse the pun, and he's always telling me what to do. And I'm like, Avi, not interested, mate. But good guy.
Although you could have some real fun with pest stuff, I think, on TikTok.
Yeah, I think there are. I did a few YouTube videos before because the business course that you were one of my mentors on, they said to put as much content creation out there as best as possible. So I've done a load of YouTube videos during the pandemic, and yeah, I think one of them's had about 35,000 views on how to get rid of moths and things. So that's quite nice. Put that up there, and then people say, I've seen you on YouTube, can you come get rid of our moths? And you go, oh, fair dues. So that does work.
So would you recommend applying to the show if anyone's listening and they've been thinking about The Apprentice? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've had about 3 or 4 friends message me who own their own businesses in London, and they've said the same thing. How do I get on? What should I do? And I've even had people who have been on in the past or on this year messaged me saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to be on." And one guy actually messaged me. He said, "Oh, the year that you were on, I was in the hotel near you, and I was in quarantine, and I was a standby." So we got all the way through, sat in the hotel for a week, all his phones and everything taken off him, and then on the day they said to the board, he was told, "No one's ill. Everyone's going, you can't go." And he messaged me, and he got through to the last stages on this one, just gone. And he always messages me, he goes, "Oh, I made it so close again." But I don't know, some people are so keen on trying to get there. It's crazy. I think some people have tried 4 or 5 times on my year, and they eventually got on. But yes, but the short answer is I would definitely do it because it gives you credibility, and the public are so fickle. You might have made a mistake on the show, and everyone forgets about it quite quickly. That's the main thing. It's just if there's a bad story out there, people might Google and you might pop up with a bad story. But yeah, and I got to talk in my old school. I've been asked to do loads of talks around the country and things, which is quite nice, and I always say yes. And it's a bit of fun. And I always start my presentation off with me getting fired. Mark, you're fired. And everyone goes, "Whee!" And I go, "Thank God that's over." And then, go into the presentation.
Great start. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, it's been so lovely to talk to you a bit more about your experience and in particular the impact that it has had on your profile. If anyone is listening who isn't already connected to you or isn't following you, where is the best place for them to find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Mark__Moseley. That's probably the best place with social media. I know everyone uses social media, or I'm on LinkedIn, Mark Moseley at PestGone. But that's about it.
Awesome. I'll pop a link to your Instagram and your LinkedIn and also your book in the show notes so that people can connect to you there. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you're serious about growing your profile, take our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.